Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Porch Talk. This is episode 43, and if you didn't watch the last episode we dropped, guys, we kind of briefly explained the format, or maybe lack of a structured format we got going forward. We're going to try to take things a little different, but that episode did explain, if you hadn't watched it, about kind of where we went and some of the lost time. Um, before we get into this episode, I just want to say, it's going to be more like a conversation based type thing. Uh, but we have some segments and stuff that Jay Morris, came up with, and we touched on them a little bit last week, and we'll start doing some of those. And, just whatever else comes our way. Of course, we're still going to talk about some sports and stuff locally, some things that's happened. I know we had some basketball and had some football news as well come out. So, we'll just kind of see where it goes. Jay Moore, how you been, man?
Doing all right, man. Had kind of a rough week. I will get into that a little bit later, but overall doing well. Can't complain really in the grand scheme of things. It's you know just working a lot and average, every average stuff for people. So nothing to complain about, but a little bit tired, here and there. That's why, like I said before, we can't get episodes out like we were doing before. Kind of getting rested up, but glad to be able to get on with you tonight. And even though it's a weekend, but glad we're able to do it. We got a lot to talk about. I don't know if we'll cover everything or not, but I'm sure we'll leave something out that's important. But uh, we'll do our best.
Yeah. And it's kind of like you mentioned the last time we were on, even if, maybe sometime throughout the week, we might even put out little 30-minute things here and there if we're rested up and, right, I should say rested up, but if we're able to do it and kind of at a reasonable time to where, we can still get up and, still make everything else work. Both of our lives are pretty busy right now. And not to harp on stuff we harped on last week or last time we were on, uh, but it's just me and you. It's not a we don't have a full on. We're not ESPN or anything. And
Yeah,
but on the same, you go ahead.
obviously I'm getting old is the main problem.
Yeah,
I'm an old man now, and that's I know people are going to get mad about that and say you're not old, you're just whatever. But I'm old. I mean, like I am. That's just let's be honest. I'm getting old, and staying up to a certain point and then getting up a few hours later, I ain't doing it anymore, and I can't. I can feel it, and it's taking its toll, and it's catching up with me. So I'm trying to prioritize sleep for the first time in my life, and it's an adjustment. So
yeah.
I'll take full responsibility for for this, but it is what it is.
Well, shout out. I know we're going to get into some of our big shout outs in a real segment, but I did. This wasn't one of them, but shout out to all the people who commented on our last episode. Just words of encouragement. Nobody was really like complaining or.
Do we have a lot of
Or
comment? Do we have some
we had
comments?
we had a few people. Shout out to Tyler's Talking Sports, and then there can't remember her name, but the the lady from Graham, her husband coaches on football, and she's a good supporter of the Air Show, and then also Fresh Off the Clock and some of them, and then Buzzy Fry from Patrick Henry, he's a every episode listener, and some of them comment on there some good words of encouragement. So shout out to you guys, you all among some others have listened to about every episode that we've put out, even the ones like last time where we didn't necessarily have any interviews or anything, but still, you listen. So we appreciate that. But go
Yeah,
ahead.
it is good to know somebody out there actually is still listening. Either way, we do it no matter what. But I mean, it is
Yeah,
good to know that somebody cares. Uh, the whole comments thing, I probably wouldn't read a lot of the comments unless we actually put out like something that says, "Hey, leave us this in the comments." Because honestly, we could have 100 good comments. If I see one that really made me mad, I'd probably be like, "I'm not doing this anymore." So I don't need to read them because I'm one of those people that I'm pretty particular and like it wouldn't take much to get me to probably be like, just I need to quit this forever. So I don't
Well,
I don't go into that, but it is cool to know people will actually follow along, and we got some regular people listening.
yeah, it's like I don't know if you've ever watched this, but you ever watched the Wreck-It Ralph movies
No,
from Disney?
I don't have
Well,
I don't have kids, so
well, I
no.
didn't know if your nieces and stuff if they watch it.
I don't. They may
Yeah,
have watched it. I've not heard them reference it. I know what you're talking about though. I remember the
yeah.
previews for it.
One of the second one, like the Ralph breaks the internet. Um, part of it, just to shorten it down, he tries to make all these funny videos to make money, and then Ralph he ends up wandering into where it says the comment section,
Yeah,
and the lady that the head algorithm person goes in there and tells him, like, Ralph, you never read the comments,
yeah. That's man.
and of
That's what.
course he's reading it, and yeah, he's all upset.
Yeah.
So,
I know how bad
yeah.
I am at certain things on as far as like talking and things go. I don't need to hear somebody else tell me. So I don't go in there and look at that. I, if I would, yeah, if we were a bigger thing and like actually putting out for a lot of people, I
Mhm.
might would like. Even then, I think I wouldn't read them just because I think it'd be worse if there's more people. But since we're just doing it for fun and just for us, I don't. I try not to care about certain things, but I'm sure there's nothing terrible. But yeah, Rogan says don't read the comments. I don't think he's talking about people like us who don't have a whole lot of comments. But I get that
Yeah.
whole. I get the whole idea of Wreck It Ralph trying to, you know, do funny videos because we could do some wild stuff just to try to get views. But yeah, it is what it is at this point. We're just trying to be ourselves. So I'm watching the NCAA tournament right now. I got Gonzaga and Houston on. It's a Houston's up 4 with 38 seconds left. Gonzaga at the line just cut it to a 3-point lead with 38 seconds. So this is a huge game. Houston is probably one of the, I mean, not the favorite, but they're one of the teams that people probably are looking at to win it. Um, a lot of brackets would be really, really bad right now if Gonzaga pulled this off. So if you see me look up to the side, that's what I'm doing. Now Gonzaga has it with 21 seconds left, I think, and I think I got fouled or what's going on here. Let's jump into some shout outs. You got any shout outs this week? It's our new segment we're doing in honor of the old pigskin picks guys that used to come on the radio on 93.5. They did this, so this is our new segment. You got anything this week?
Yeah, I got three different ones. We'll go ahead and start my first one, and I'm sure, bounce it back and forth. I just want to kind of give a shout out and almost a salute to some of the coaches that had, you know, I guess hung up the whistle, I guess, if you would say, this past week. And I can't remember the J.I. Burton, that head coach's name, or the one from Twin Springs, but we had two there that I think they either retired or maybe they were looking to go somewhere else. I'm not sure. Coach Hood from Rye Cove, girls basketball. I think all four of these are Mason's girls basketball. And then finally, Coach Terry Ann Funk from East Side, who was a guest of ours last year and just a remarkable coach and remarkable person from the conversations we had with her, and then from all the people that we've talked to that knows her real well. I think she's just a great leader. So it's going to be sad to see her not be on the sidelines there, but I just want to kind of give her a shout out. And I also want to kind of shout out, and this guy isn't retiring, But Coach Padgett took the job over at Tazewell to coach the football team in Tazewell. So a big change there. He's at Patrick Henry and had a lot of success there. So shout out to him for that. You know, a new opportunity he's got. I know we wasn't able to have him on the show last year, but maybe this year will be a little bit different. I spoke with him. He's definitely a great guy, has a lot of football knowledge. So I'm excited to see if he can help Tazewell kind of take that next step.
That it? Good.
Yeah,
I'm gonna shout out my wife, Melissa Lester. You know, obviously puts up with a lot. You might knows me putting up with me every day. It's got to be a lot. And she is on. She's feeling the pressure right now. Her team's in March Madness in the women's bracket, and she's going through that roller coaster of a ride that we all go through if we have a team that made a tournament. So shout out to her. Other shout outs are going to be my cousin Chance Keene. I should have mentioned it last week and I kind of forgot. I feel terrible about that. He's at King College playing basketball right now, and he got it's the Elite 23 award. And honestly, I should have messaged him and asked him about what this exactly was, but I'm pretty sure um, it's an academic award with student athlete type of award. But he got it in their conference at their conference tournament. So I should have more details. I'm kind of dropping the ball on that and not getting with him and making and seeing what exactly the details were. It's got to be something to do with having a grade point average or whatever academic achievement. Also, while playing, being on a team. Shout out to him doing that, and I know he's making he's a lot smarter than I am. Obviously, he's making great grades,
smarter than me.
playing ball king. So,
Yeah.
shout out to him. I was gonna shout out to my uncle Jeff. Um, Obviously, I can shout out to him every week if I want to, but specifically for what he's doing at Lebanon with some of the younger kids coming up. His son and daughter play in the travel ball little league, whatever you want to call it there. Um, but shout out to him for being one of those old school coaches that refuses to give in to some of this crap that goes on. I'm not saying that give in to some of this crap is a bad term, probably, but I don't know how else to put it. He coaches like old school guys. He cares probably more. I mean, he cares no matter what grade level he's coaching. He cares, and he's impassionate about it, and he wants what's best for those kids and wants them to get better. And if he's coaching a game, you can guarantee he's into it. You see a lot of posts. We talked about this last week about some people posted about uh, some things that have to do with officiating, and Jeff's like I am. He's fiery, and he's gonna if he's coaching a game, he's going to get on the refs. That's part of it as a coach. You get on the refs. Um, if you're a referee, I don't care what grade you're coaching. You have to let coaches have a little, little, little slack there to complain. Because if a coach doesn't care enough to get on to a ref, then honestly, in my opinion, they probably don't care enough. That's part of coaching is working the refs. Um, you know, people can say what they want uh, about people, but I think instead of people changing to lower standards to where you don't say anything, I think some of these refs should get a little tougher skin and realize they're coaching the game that people are passionate about. And I don't care what level you're playing at, people are going to be passionate about it. I see these posts about these games don't matter because they're at this age. Well, I don't agree with that. I was that age once, and those games mattered to me. I remember some of those games. Do they matter in the grand scheme of like? No, you don't win a. You know, you it's a you don't win anything as far as like any kind of records that'll be kept, but it matters to you. If you're a competitive person, it matters. I do think there's a lot of people that go over the line. I do think that people, do things and say things, and even I'm sure Jeff would even say at times he's probably complained a little too much or went a little too far. Well, give him a technical, he'll probably stop. You know what I mean? But to say people shouldn't just leave these refs alone, I'm tired of this. If you're going to referee a ball game, you need to grow you need to be a little tougher skin. I'm sorry. I can't deal with it. I'm over it. I'm tired of it. I've refed a lot of games back in the day at little league level, at travel tournaments. Um, I had people yell at me, I had people complain. I'm good with that. Like that's part of it. Like grow up and get a little tougher skin. You're there, you're getting paid to do it. Just deal with it. Unless something extreme happens, just ref the games. I'm not gonna get into it on here and call people out, but there's a few things I learned this weekend that really, really made me mad. And when I see an individual, I might ask him about it. I might not. I don't know. But don't get on Facebook and post about things and kind of embellish and say things about events that happen and leave things out or to call individuals out. Just go talk to somebody individually if it bothers you that much. Like we got to get back to that. But and instead of just posting this big long thing, getting people on your side. If you can't handle it, don't do it. Go do something else. I don't know. But anyway, I shouldn't turn that into a rant. But shout out to Michael Jeff. Love you. Always got your back no matter what. And my last shout out, you nailed it with the coaches, by the way. But a lot of them are leaving. But I'm gonna go. You went that way. I'm gonna go this way. I'm gonna say shout out to the Central girls for winning the state championship, but in particular, shout out to Emma McCamus on an incredible career. You don't see this often. You won't see it probably again for a while, if ever. Um, Absolutely incredible stats that she put up, and um, I've not got to watch her very much in person but following her along. Obviously, if you're a sports fan around this area, you follow her and know who she is. Um, but it's just what she did in high school as far as winning games and points put up and stuff like that. It's unbelievable. It really is. I don't care at what level you're playing at, where you're playing, what she did and the numbers she put up, or that's very, very, very unordinary. You don't see that often. So shout out to her, and then finally shout out to George With boys and girls. I mean, imagine being at a high school and both your teams, boys and girls, bring home state
Yeah.
championships. Imagine that celebration that it had. I can't even begin to imagine what that was like for them
Mhm.
as a school and as a community. That had to be amazing. I'd love to have seen that and have seen some videos or something. But just thinking about it, being in school and either while I was in school or after I graduated, if Twin Valley had brought one, even one would have been great. But if they had brought both home the same year, what that would have felt like, that would have been amazing. So shout out to them. Congratulations on great seasons. And but yeah, that's amazing accomplishment also.
Yeah. Just to kind of touch on what you just said, I guess I can go ahead and throw. I got wasn't going to be one of my shout outs, but I do want to shout out some basketball stuff now that you said that. But also, I want to kind of present this beforehand. Could we, almost say, I know this isn't an award, but if you was to say athlete of Southwest Virginia for, the last 2 or 3 years, you could almost give it to Emma in all
If
sports. I
if
mean,
you
if you
if
was
you
to, let's go with one.
if you put in, I don't even know what metric you'd go by that wouldn't include
Yeah.
her. But if you put in the championships, she's actually won two. It's
Hmm.
If you look at it at the high school careers, it's honestly she kind of beats Mac McClung because I mean they won a state championship. I think Emma's won 2 or 3, like and went to the finals every year. I think that she's played. I know it's a team sport, obviously, is like shout out to them, and that's a program
Yeah.
that is like ridiculous. But Gate City was a good program too, and they didn't go every year. I don't think I think they maybe went 2 or 3 times, or at least twice also, but they got beat.
Yeah.
But yeah, you would think like if you had to pick somebody over the last X amount of years, you'd say, well, obviously it's Mac McClung. What Emma's accomplished at Wise is or Central is up there with like and probably it kind of overtakes that because of the championships. It's really amazing what she's done there. I mean, obviously Mac is Mac, like and
Yeah. I would say impact wise, like I would give it to Mac. On paper, when you look at like accolades, you'd probably say Emma. But for sure, the last 2 or 3 years, like in her high school career, I don't know that there's anybody in the area
oh
that I would put for like if you was to say
no
athlete of the year, it'd have to be her. I
no
mean,
the last 2 or 3 years it's not even close. Maybe one of the players from Graham, but the individual stats for them don't jump
they're
off
such a
at you.
great team. Yeah.
Don't jump off at you
Yeah.
like hers does. And uh again, you look at basketball and it's obviously a team sport. But to do what she did, you can't overlook it. Like you can't say,
Mm-mm.
"Oh, she was on a good team," or "Oh, she was whatever." Like there's a lot of dynasties out there and a lot of good teams that have success every year that players don't do that. Like I said, what she done is not it's ridiculously
Mm.
impressive. So yeah, I'd say you're right. The last 2 or 3 years, especially, is basically her. I guess. I mean, I don't think there's
But
anything you can do.
she's like one of two, right, to have 3,000 points. I thought
Yeah,
I read an article that the
yeah,
other one was a girl playing. Can't remember what university she's playing
yeah.
at right
I
now.
think there's only 2 girls in Virginia to ever do it,
Yeah.
and
Two,
so
is it two? Okay, so there's been some guys to get the
well,
3,000 points
I'm
club.
honestly not sure about that. That's a good question.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think there was some guys that done it, but I don't know if
Okay.
they were public, private type of thing. I'm not real sure. That's a good. Maybe somebody that listens can fill us in and educate us on
Mhm.
that. I'm honestly not sure. So it may even be more impressive. And that's not even mentioning what she did in volleyball. She holds records at
Yeah.
I know at Central for
Yeah.
sure, and
That's
maybe even state
yeah.
records in volleyball. I'm not sure what her state
She
records
does have
are.
the kills record
Yeah, I don't know. Is that
in
a
the
state?
state. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a
Yeah.
state too.
That's a
So
state. Yeah.
and I don't even know what else she does. She probably does some other sport that we don't know about. So
Yeah.
it's hard to tell with. But yeah, ridiculous career. It's insane the numbers she put up and everything she done.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so it's just crazy,
Yeah.
man. Like you don't see that very often, for
No.
sure.
Um, but I wanted to shout out as well to Patrick Henry's basketball team. They made it pretty far. I know we mentioned them, last time, but also Honecker girls. I really think that they could have beaten George with. A few things didn't go their way. Uh, gave up that lead, and then George went and won. But I think that the best team was, one of those two teams was the best team in the
Yeah,
state. So,
and
I mean,
thinking about that, imagine if Honaker beats George with and wins another one. Imagine what we're talking
mm,
about with Misty, the coach at Honaker. What a run that is.
yeah,
That's another one of those all time. Like you don't see that. You don't see that either. Like
mhm,
that would be like I don't know, however many that is in the last 8 years or something crazy. Like I think they won three
yeah,
straight. So at her, she'd be up there in those talks of like pushing like a lot of all time great. Like she already is. I mean, the numbers wise,
oh yeah, for
for
sure,
sure. Like it's just you can't deny that fact. So, um, yeah, unfortunate for them that they didn't pull that win off, but. That might have been, that the winner of that one probably wins it. I would imagine is how that probably
mm-hmm.
went, but that's what happens. The better.
Yeah,
I don't know who was better team. I know the better team doesn't always win in some of those games. It's just that night. So That's what the good thing about having like a series is for like the NBA. The better
Yeah.
team usually wins a series, but that ain't how it goes. Sometimes the better team doesn't win. So part of it.
Yeah, but I can't sit here and give these basketball shout outs without mentioning the Graham basketball team. I know they kind of went up against a team that was flat loaded, and I'm sure we'll get to talk about it here, a little bit. But I think I saw somebody put on there that their AAU team is like ranked like top 15 nationally. Um, John Marshall, who I'm talking about, and just looking back some of their scores and stuff, they've killed people. When it came to the playoffs, I think they play a national schedule. They play all over the country, I think. Um, but it's just to go up against that team like Graham did, and to only lose by I think like what around 20 or something. Uh, you got to give them credit for the fight they had. Uh, I hate it. I know there's a lot of people kind of going back and forth on the whole transfer rules and stuff. I think that they got a program obviously that's winning and that's going to ship out a lot of or be a good pipeline to send to some real good colleges right now. So you can't blame the kids for wanting to go there, but I think there's just a system right now that is kind of angering a lot of people to where a lot of these guys are going up there and the teams are just loaded and it's hard to compete with that. I think I saw somewhere that I think it was Bristol Paper. I shared that I can't remember his name, but I think he's two-time state player of the year had transferred there from another school. That helped him out even more. Uh, and I also saw people talking, from John Marshall in the comments how they tried to move up and go to 3A. And I guess BHSL wouldn't let them. So I don't know.
Well, the point, the moving up three is relevant. It's the number of
Yeah,
students you have.
yeah,
Like it
it's
doesn't matter.
numbers. Yeah,
They probably beat people. They beat people at three A.
yeah,
That doesn't have anything to do with
yeah,
it. And they're probably not breaking any rules technically. That's the sad thing. Like they're probably
yeah,
like walking a fine line around the rules where it's technically not illegal, but doesn't make it right. You know what I mean? Like this, for what like just I just feel like I don't know what to compare it to,
yeah.
but it's not okay. I know I hate to use the word fair because life's not fair. Certain things happen,
Hmm.
but it's the way it's happening. It's not a fair as far as competition goes. Um, it may be legal how they're doing things technically, I guess, if they're getting by in some gray area, but it's not how high school basketball is supposed to be. Um, it's just not. Like you can't. I don't know how. I don't know a lot of details about how they're getting. If these guys that play on this AU team are just coming in and living there, I'm not sure what their what the situation is.
Yeah,
But you're not. You don't get that many. It just don't happen. You don't get that. You don't get those guys there normally. So, but also I don't know what you do about it. Like
yeah,
so that's the problem I think people are having is like how do you fix it without I don't know what the solution is. So yeah, to me in my mind, Graham, I don't know who they would have had to have played if John Marshall wasn't a thing. I'm not saying they would have won, but in my mind, they basically hold your heads high. You probably were state champs,
hmm,
in my opinion. I don't. Uh, I know that doesn't help them any. It doesn't make them feel any better. Uh, but how awesome again would that be to go your football and basketball team go state champs same year? That would be.
yeah,
I mean, imagine that. It's just it's a real
yeah,
shame how it's. I don't know what the answer is here. I don't even know all the details, so I'm kind of talking on something I don't know a lot like all the details about, but I know enough to know that something's not right there, and it's probably not illegal, but just because you're not breaking a rule doesn't make it right. It's what it feels like.
Yeah.
So it'd be like, Buchanan County, for example. It'd be like if all the best players that play basketball moved to, moved in or whatever
Hmm.
to one school of over the years. Let's think about this for a second. The state championships that this county has is probably a lot. There's been a lot of good
Hmm.
basketball players come through this county, and if they all of them gathered at the same school, it, I mean,
Yeah.
especially back in the day when it was the heyday of BDD and stuff. Like you had Grundy's players and Hurley players and Twin Valley players or Garden and Whitewood and vice versa and Council and all
Hmm.
those players. Could you imagine the all-star team that they could come up with and like what they would have done in single A? Like they would have won every year for a while. It would have been close, like in the
Yeah.
early '90s to the 2000-ish, something like that. They probably would have won like 7 or 8 straight state
Hmm.
championships. That's what you have there in that situation. That's all the best players coming, but it's not even the best players from the area. It's players from out of the area, from what I understand. So it even makes it
Yeah.
even worse. So, but as far as that guy that transferred in, I don't blame him. Like, what more can you achieve
Yeah.
at that school he was at? And you're looking, like probably a good thing. Like if you got an Oak Hill that's in Virginia, obviously it's a private school, they can't compete in that, for a reason because it's people
Hmm.
players are coming in. It feels like it's what this is, but for however they're doing it, they're getting by with it. Because if there was anything they could find on them, they would have found it and they would have
Yeah.
some people would have brought it to their attention. So they're obviously doing something that's getting by the rules or just around the rules of being like not breaking them. But it is sad. I really hate. I mean, imagine being in 2A. What do you work? I mean, you work that hard, knowing you're probably doesn't matter what you do. You're not going to beat them.
Yeah.
That would be a terrible
Well,
feeling.
I saw somewhere on the comments soon, you don't know how much is real or just crazy talk. I saw a lot of people mention in some of them get NIL money, and I saw some people comment on it and say that well NIL it's illegal for them to have that in Virginia, but I didn't think that was the case.
Well, is that
But
see NIL? Is that can you do that in high school, or is that
that's
not?
my point. That's what somebody said. You had to go look at the comments. Like if I can find it, it's like for the I think it's the post whenever they posted that like the score that John Marshall had won is on VHSL. And I'm pretty sure that like somebody said something about well they're getting NIL money, and somebody said on there well they can, and I don't know if that's for the AAU team or what.
Well, I
Um,
mean, you
and
got
again, I
to.
don't know how much of that's crazy talk or if it's you know.
I don't think high school players should be getting money.
Because they're team sponsored by I think somebody told me or not told me but I saw somebody post is that Adidas I think
I mean, but
that sponsors their team
you
I can't
get
remember
the AU team or the high school team.
the AU team but
That's what I'm saying, but it's the
it's
same
all
thing,
the
right? That's what I'm saying.
yes
Like it's
yeah
okay. So here's my example, and this might make a lot of people mad, and it probably will. I don't care. I'm gonna say it anyway. I'm not saying it's wrong because, as far as I know, all these kids are from the same place. But when you pump that much money into something, when does it become illegal? Because if you look at Grundy
yeah
Wrestling, a lot of money goes into Grundy Wrestling Club. You know, they don't give money to the high school; they give it to Grundy Wrestling Club. But all those guys that are in Grundy Wrestling Club wrestle for Grundy High School. I don't see anything wrong with that. I'm not saying they're doing anything wrong whatsoever. I think it's great. But the only difference between that and what John Marshall is doing as far as private money coming in is they're all from there. So where do you draw the line? Do you think, like, as far as like if you have people giving money, how do you
yeah
say you can give money to this program, but you can't? It's a weird thing the VHSL's got
yeah
to figure out. I don't know what the answer is, but it doesn't feel right.
yeah
for whatever reason. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and is it like in the Grundy situation? Probably donors like local, whereas at John Marshall, if that's the case, like I said, they're sponsored by what Team Adidas or something. And I don't know if Adidas is giving them money, but let's just say, for example, they are. Then it's also from somewhere that's not even local. Like you're getting stuff from other places and players. If they are individually getting money, and then as a team possibly getting money, I don't know. It's
No,
just,
that's kind of what I was talking about though. Is
yeah,
VHSL? What do you make a rule that says if you're not living in a certain like
yeah,
vicinity or area of this school, you can't give money because what if you have an alum from that high school that
yeah,
moves
somewhere else,
somewhere else, but he wants to donate?
yeah,
Are they not allowed to donate? That's not right. So you're in a tough spot. I don't know. I mean, it may just be a thing they got to deal with. I don't know if there's any real
mm,
answer for it. And again, I'm not trying to like throw shade at the Grundy thing because I'm happy for all those guys and I think they're doing things great. Like they're all that I know of, they're not going out in states and bringing anybody in. Like for the most
mm,
part, everybody I've ever known is from. You might get one moved from a in county school because they want to do wrestling, but obviously, if you're
yeah,
going to be a
right,
wrestler in the county, you're going to move to Grundy. Like there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't think they're going out and bringing people in from other states that I know of. But even if they do, if they move here, there's nothing wrong with that. I guess that's perfectly within the rules set by the
yeah,
VHSL. I just using that example. Obviously, if I won the lottery tomorrow and won, unlimited funds, and I like, is there any? Could I just buy Twin Valley a team? I mean, is that
good
how that works? You
question.
know what I mean? Is that how
Yeah,
that works? Because that
yeah,
can't
I
be
don't know.
that can't be how high school sports are going. That can't be the
Yeah,
answer. But it seems like maybe it is. I don't know. I don't
yeah.
like it, but they gotta figure something out though. It's crazy.
Uh, just, I guess you already went through all your shout outs, didn't you?
Yeah, I gotta get off here
Yeah,
because I'll go on another rant if I don't.
yeah. So I'll go ahead and kind of give the rest of mine. I had two
Well,
others.
real quick,
Uh,
this will take
yeah, go ahead.
10 seconds. I've decided every time shout out to my little buddies, Jordan, Kedrick, Jackson, and
Oh,
Loxley. Love y'all. Uncle J Moore loves you.
yeah. Uh, I want to shout out not necessarily two individuals, but two separate things. First off, I want to shout out the community over at Russell County and then parts of Tazewell County, and I'm sure maybe in some other places here locally. Uh, had a little boy at over here at Homeacre School, but also plays on the local travel ball team. Uh, Mr. Coy Witt. I don't know if Corey and his family watches the show or not, but just some great people. Um, some of the nicest family, one of the nicest family you ever meet. And they were on vacation last week or maybe the week before. Uh, but Mr. Coy there, he's in fourth grade, young kid, ended up having to have like an emergency surgery, I think, for his appendix. But he was in the Dominican Republic having to do this surgery because they were on a cruise. So, sucky thing about it is, down there, I guess your insurance just don't reach that far.
Well, you gotta
And
apparently not to interrupt you, but apparently
yeah,
I learned this the other day. If you go out of overseas or out of country, you have to pay like so much for. I want to think it's called a rider. I don't know if that's right or not to your insurance to cover you while you're overseas, while you're out
oh
of
yeah,
country. If you do that,
something, yeah.
but nobody knows that.
Mm.
Like that's not something people
No,
know. I don't think So like, obviously, it would save them tons of money, but nobody knows that. Like what I mean? Nobody
no,
thinks about doing that.
no. But they, had to do that surgery and cost a lot of money to do that, pretty much in the pocket, and they had to have the money first before they done the surgery, which is just kind of a crappy thing to have to. I don't know. I'd hate to be in that situation. Uh, but thankfully everything went well. They just now tonight got back home. I saw on Facebook him and his mom. So just shout out to them. Like I said, just a great family. Uh, some of the best people you'd ever meet. Then lastly, uh, pretty funny thing, but worth noting. Uh, Former guest on the show, Kelvin Hamilton, and his girlfriend Lincoln. They were out. I think it was last weekend. There for his girlfriend's birthday party, and guess who's in the restaurant? Mr. Antonio Brown.
Yeah,
So,
I think Dakota win Cracker of the Week. That
so Cracker of the Month, I believe is
the
what it
month.
said.
Oh, he did win Cracker
Yeah,
Month. Okay, that's a
yeah.
big deal.
So
They have a award
it
show for
is.
that every year now. So
Yes.
yeah,
So shout out to both of them. That's cool, and I think I heard Elon Musk even commented on the thing.
yeah.
So
I mean, Antonio
that's wild.
Brown is out there, but he's hilarious.
He is out there, but it is pretty cool though.
Oh, the Cracker of
So
the Month, the big
yeah,
year thing is one of the funniest follows on Twitter. And
yeah,
if you don't laugh at that, then
yeah,
you need to get a sense of humor. But yeah,
yes,
that's hilarious that he does that. But that's pretty cool. Just running into somebody like that, that's pretty wild.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean that's not something you'd see every day, or someone you'd see every day.
Yeah.
So definitely shout out to both of them. Uh, I guess that's. I mean, I'm trying to sit here and think about another one,
Well,
but I guess for
while you're
news,
thinking about it, I'll tell you a funny story about how I thought one time we were going to have to go to a hospital while out of the country. Uh, and it really, really, really worried me. I didn't know what we were going to do. Well, we were on a honeymoon, and Melissa got out of the shower, and the tile floor in the bathroom, like the slick tile, whatever it was, marble stuff, whatever. Somehow the hair got wet. Uh, I guess when I got out, I'd probably dripped through there or whatever. But it was wet. She stepped out and onto it and absolutely went down hard and hit her knee. And I thought she broke something. Like it was bad. I thought I was gonna have to take her to a hospital in Mexico, and I didn't know what we were gonna do. I can't imagine what that family went through because that's not a comfortable
mm-mm.
situation to be in at all. I wouldn't imagine because I didn't even have to do it, but I just the thought about the just a few minutes of thinking, what am I going to do if we have to do this? I don't know. I don't know how we would have handled it. Like it, that can't be.
Yes,
That's crazy.
yeah, it's I can't imagine. I think that they actually like the mother and the boy stayed back for the surgery, and the dad and his the daughter, which the boy's sister, ended up coming back to the United States. Um, and then they had to do the surgery, just them two. They didn't know if they were going to be able to like how they were going to get back in the country. Thankfully, uh, Carnival provided them they got to be able, they were able to get on another cruise ship and go back to the States, and I'm assuming fly back up. But I shouted out the community, but I didn't mention why. Um, I've seen they've done a lot of fundraisers in the area, selling shirts. I know a lot of people just through Facebook posts and stuff have donated a lot. I know a lot of local churches and stuff as well. So I just think it's something really positive to see. It's not a good situation, but it's positive to see how the community has rallied around them
Yeah,
to
yeah,
to help them through this.
yeah, for sure. Uh, are you done with your shout outs?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna jump into our new segment here, and I don't know what we're gonna call it yet. Uh, elimination. Would you? I'll pick one if you want to call it that. We'll come up with something. But I don't have a lot of real detailed questions. Just a couple that I can think of, that I thought for you specifically. Well, really just one, but then I'll try to come up with some as we go here. because the only one really good one I can think of. I'll try to come up with something else just to make it interesting. But I'm gonna throw out two scenarios to you, and you have to eliminate one. So, or pick which one you would rather happen or have happen. So my first one for you is going to be, I I don't know if we want to go anytime the next season, or if you wanted to say just anytime in your pick and you're choosing over the next till infinity.
Mm.
But would you go with the 49ers Super Bowl win or a UVA football national championship win?
Uh, that's hard because, like, for the
Well,
football one, for the football one, it's hard because we've been so close. So to see us actually get it would be, like, it'd be very emotional. But when you look at UVA national championship win, that's something that we've not even sniffed. I mean, I've been,
right,
close at all.
yeah.
So it's like I haven't had that,
Well, I was going to
like,
say
almost there moment.
the Niners have all the rings, but not in your
Oh, not
adult
in my
life,
lifetime.
right?
No,
Not
we've
ones you can
lost
write.
twice.
So yeah,
Yeah.
so that makes it
Three
So
times actually.
right.
We lost three times in my
So
lifetime.
anybody saying, "Oh, the Niners got so many, you let UVA get one," you've not experienced it.
Mhm.
So this is for
No.
you. Really, it's not any. So that makes it tougher.
Mhm. Is there a condition where UVA wins the national championship and Tech never wins one?
If that makes it, if that makes it harder for you to, yeah, if that makes it, no, that makes it too easy because you brought it up. I would say, yeah, you can say that if you want to pick that over the Niners, but
Yeah.
uh, it makes it too easy because you brought it up. So now I'm gonna make you stick with just UVA winning one and not anybody else not winning one.
Uh, uh,
And I don't know if this matters or not, but you can even pick, like, I don't know why this would matter, but you can pick when it happens
uh,
if you wanted to. You know what I mean? Like you say
uh,
next, you could be like not next year, but maybe like a couple. But I don't think that matters really. But you have to eliminate one. Which one would you?
I
And
think
so I could word this
that,
different.
yeah, it's a tough one.
I could
Yeah.
say one's gonna you're only gonna get one forever. I could say that, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna say
Well, that's the way that
with
I
I'm just
took it. Yeah.
I'm gonna change it for you. Maybe it'll help. I'm gonna say if the next one that happens. So if you can only pick one to happen next,
Well, I
the
mean,
other,
I'd pick,
the other one
yeah,
can't happen until till this one happens. Which one would you pick to happen
yeah.
first?
Well, I mean, be UVA probably because I look at it like this. As a Niners fan, we have, that's what makes it hard because we have been so close. It'd be nice to see us finally get there. Uh, but it's not like we haven't been good. We have been
Right.
good. With UVA though, in the way the world's going right now, or the way, not the world necessarily, but the way that college football is going is, I think what little percentage of a chance we ever had is getting to where it's almost impossible because we just we can't compete with spending the money that a lot of these other schools spend. We can't do it. Not in football anyway. And with that being the case, for us to win one would be that much crazier, especially uh, through a playoff and then through all the NIL stuff, through all of that for us to win one, I would have to go with probably the college
See, I get what you're saying, but honestly, I
one. Yeah.
think the way NIL is maybe increases your chances because if not for pay, for paying
Uh,
if not for paying people to come there, then why would anybody go to UVA play football?
well, I mean, there for a while when everything, I guess, what you'd say equal, whatever.
But
I wouldn't necessarily
I'm
equal,
just
but
saying, at least
uh,
now you can throw some incentive to people to say,
but
"I'm
they
coming here."
won't. But that's the point is that,
Well, they would.
like, I mean,
They won't come there without incentive. Y'all suck.
well, we do, yeah, we do now, for sure. But we had some up and down, like. competing for ACC title years.
That
Um,
doesn't count
but
because
but
that's not national championship.
it's not. But I'm just saying, like, I don't see even that now because schools that prioritize like because they are like among the top in academics that they prioritize that over spending tons of money in football, which
So
yeah, whatever.
what's Notre Dame's academics like? Are they terrible academic?
See, I think they got good academics, but it's not like UVA is like. I remember looked at it one time.
Yeah,
It's just a while back.
that's what all y'all keep saying.
Look, listen,
I've
listen.
met the people from UVA and a bunch of but,
No, it doesn't. I'm not saying
uh,
anything.
I don't
Listen, I think
know.
it was I don't know what it is now, but I know about 7 or 8 years ago. I remember looking at it, and UVA had never failed like past like 15 as far as public and private schools, and then as far as just public schools, they had never failed like past like 2 or 3 in academics. So
I mean, I get it, but I feel
yeah,
like y'all use that as an excuse a lot. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just
yeah,
saying, you know, when y'all ain't good, you're like,
yeah.
well, academic standards are too tough for us to be like blah blah blah. I don't know.
Well, no, I mean, I think, I think before this that wasn't. I mean, I know people say it, but I wouldn't use that as an excuse.
I mean,
But now,
it's a good
like
excuse.
the
Don't get
NIL
me wrong.
stuff's the real,
I'm going to give you credit.
yeah,
It's a real thing. I'm not, and I'm
yeah,
naive enough to, I'm
yeah,
not trying to say it's not real. I just that's what my
yeah.
cousin uses as an excuse every year. Is well, if y'all had the academic standard we had, well, we don't. So sorry, I don't care.
Well, I got one for you, and
All right,
this is all off the cuff because I didn't know, this is all new. So it's gonna be a tough one. Would you rather? This is more of a would you rather thing, but uh, never. Which doom and gloom outcome would you? I guess you pick. Would you never have another UNC national championship, or Eric Church never put out another song again in his career?
I would
Period.
say Eric Church never put out another song in his career because he's got so many good ones
Yeah.
already. I'd be happy with
So
his
you're just
album.
done.
I can live with what he's done because he's already the goat. So that's
Even done performing too, like done of it all, music
yeah,
completely.
it would save me money. I could go back and listen to.
Yeah,
I mean, as hard as
yeah,
that is to say, like it.
yeah,
Uh, I only get to go to
yeah,
Eric Church concert once every blue moon,
yeah,
and that's money in my pocket. And to not ever be able to do that again would be not or no, and I wouldn't have. But he's going to at some point
yeah,
stop anyway. Like he's going to die at some point. Like we all die. So like,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
I mean,
Like so at
you're
some
right.
point
Yeah,
that's going to end anyway. And like I said, he's made so many good albums and so much good music that I could be fine with it. Um, so, but again, I'll probably die before he does, so I might not get to see Carolina win one anyway. But uh,
hopefully I
I would take that, I
do.
guess, because Carolina's my first love. When I was 3 years old, whatever Dad says,
Yeah,
I was for some reason I
yeah,
was a Carolina fan, so mm, I'm going to go with Carolina on that one. But it ain't because obviously I love our church, but he's got a limited a thing I can only see him
yeah,
anyway. So,
yeah,
and like I said, if he'd only put out
yeah.
like an album or two, it might be hard. But he's got all those out already that I can go back and listen to still. So if he stopped right
Yeah.
now, I'd have all that forever anyway. So
Yeah,
I'm
you
good.
have a good
Yeah, I'm good.
inventory of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Well,
I got
that's
one.
good.
Uh, if you could only eat, and this is going to kind of be like I don't know how to word it really, but I guess pork. So like barbecue,
Yeah.
brisket, anything that has to do with doing any of that,
Just
or
any meat, pretty
any
much.
well, no pork specifically. Like,
Well,
eh,
briskets, like cow,
okay, well,
beef.
see, okay, I wasn't sure about that. That's what my question was. I didn't know what come from what. Let's go with So this ruins my question, I guess. So, uh, okay, I don't know which one you like better. I'm just gonna go ahead for when I think of a question on there. But if you
Yeah,
could only have like pulled pork barbecue or steak ever, you have to get rid of one of them forever. You can only have one. Which one would you take?
I keep steak.
Okay.
I like pulled pork, don't get me wrong, but um, brisket's my favorite. Like
Well, okay, brisket or steak. Let's
brisket,
go that way. I didn't know which one was your favorite. I was thinking for some reason brisket.
yeah,
I just lump all that
yeah,
barbecue stuff like all that in one
yeah,
thing. But brisket,
yeah,
obviously, yeah, it does come from.
yeah,
But so okay, let's say
yeah,
brisket or just a good old fashioned
yeah.
steak.
It would be tough because like we eat steak like at least like a once a week. So to lose steak would be to lose a meal that we eat quite often. Now, granted, it's not as good as what like brisket's my favorite thing, but steak is still pretty high, and so I'll be losing one thing that I don't get to eat, but once every like few months because brisket's so expensive versus something I'll be losing that I eat every week. So I would unfortunately get rid of the brisket so I can keep the steak.
Okay. Hmm. It's
So
interesting. I have
yeah,
to ask you some questions off air, but because it's not
yeah.
podcast appropriate. It's just we ain't got time to go down and have that conversation. But you got
Okay.
anything else off the top of your head?
Let me think of one here. Uh, just to keep with I guess the food trend, would you uh rather not be allowed to watch any? Kind of think of what I want to word. I don't want to do something I've already done necessarily, but so let's just say not be able to watch any more basketball games or have to eat like have to be vegetarian.
Any more basketball games as far as what, just like
You can
any
go in
bas
person, but like no, nothing on TV.
so no basketball games on TV
No.
or if I chose basketball, it has to be a vegetarian.
Yes.
I'll give you out basketball can have it. Bye. See ya.
I was wondering.
I was
You
just
said you
I
said
was just
UNC was your first love.
they
So
are. They're still gonna be playing, and I'll still check
yeah,
the I'll still check the scores, and
yeah,
I'll go to since you get me on TV, I'll go to a game in person once a year.
yeah,
But I can't. I'll die if I don't eat.
yeah,
If I have to be a vegetarian, there's no way I'd make it. So that's not gonna happen. That's impossible. So
yeah,
that's not an option at this point. I wouldn't be able to do it.
yeah, yeah.
Even if I wanted to pick, but I couldn't. You can't
Uh,
you can't sustain it like what I can't be
no,
there's no way.
I was trying to think of one that would get you stumped
Well, that
off the
was
top of
I
my
mean
head,
as
that
bad as I hate to
yeah,
get
but
up
that
watching
one,
ball games, like
yeah,
I gotta eat.
yeah, yeah. I
you know.
got you. I got you.
All right, so
Yeah.
here's one. If you could choose between having the last season of Game of Thrones done right versus uh versus let's see, picking any country artist you want to go see for the rest of your life, at least once a year. Once a year, you get to pick the concert you want to see that year, anywhere in the world, anywhere it is. It don't matter. Funds or just you get a free trip. They're gonna fly you. They're gonna do whatever. You pick the location. You pick the concert. Whatever it is. It don't have to be country. Music concert,
Hmm.
event, whatever. Once a year, you get this till you die. Okay, or have the last season of Game of Thrones done the right way and work out. Even if it's more than one season later, you don't have to do it one season, but you know what I mean. You get the gist.
Hmm.
Because that look,
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
which would you pick?
I would definitely take the concerts
Okay.
because Game of Thrones at this point is so dead to me. Like,
Well, see, I
I've
think
I've got
because I think I should have, if I'd have asked you this like a few days after it, after the
yeah. I was gonna
thing
say
come off, maybe, but time's
I'm
healed some wounds,
past
I think.
yeah, I'm past the morning
Okay.
stage and stuff, and especially with House of Dragon. Like it was good, but I mean, when you have like 2 year gaps in between every season, you kind of become like you just get like
Yeah,
whatever, you
that
don't
little.
really care.
Yeah, I should have picked something a little
Mhm.
less.
But it is funny that you brought
I
that
should
up
have made it a
because
little more competitive because
yeah,
the unlimited concert figure that is kind of wow.
that's a good deal.
I should have come up. Yeah,
Especially with it being paid, I could go to.
yeah,
I mean, King Jesse's at the Sphere right now in Las
yeah.
Vegas,
I should have come up with
and
something but
that's
better
all
here.
paid for.
That's right. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was bad on my part. That's my fault. See, we'll get.
but
I'll learn
yeah,
these this game. I'll figure this out
yeah.
as we go.
But it is funny though because you mentioned that question of Game of Thrones. I think we had a similar question to that on our like 4 hour whatever episode that we had that one time uh, that we didn't get a post. Remember,
Oh, I
it
don't
was
remember
before
the question, but I remember the podcast.
we got into talking about it, and it was before the start of last season of our podcast, before football season started. It was off air, still yet to be seen. Might have to like unlock that. Which there's some things in it that I know that we kind of word this. Things that have happened sports wise in the area that have changed a lot since that episode and stuff we talked about in that episode had some sudden changes through the course of the season. So I'd have to edit that stuff out. Uh, but yeah, that was a good episode.
Yeah, you don't have to edit it out.
From,
I mean, it happened. But
yeah.
let's see. I don't think I have it more right off the top of my head because I have to think about some of this a little more
Mhm.
detail. And we'll re-engineer this segment and make it a little better, a little more precise. But
Yeah.
we'll come up. I think it'll be a fun one to do. Uh, anyway, let's talk about real quick the my bad week I was talking about. I'm gonna tell you what my week's been like.
Oh,
First of all, my dog died. My boy Sammy. Shout
oh,
out to
did he
him.
really?
Yeah, I had him
Oh
for
my gosh.
14 years. I've had this dog,
Mm.
and it's been pretty tough. I'm gonna be honest. It's been a rough few days. And then
Oh.
Carolina decides to just not show up for a half.
But they did make the tournament.
Well, yeah, but I mean, they shouldn't have probably. We can talk about that if you want to. I don't really want to talk about it, but we can if the viewers really think that. But as a
Well,
Carolina,
I heard from a close friend, Mr. Logan Cantrell, that he wanted to give Coach Davis there 10 more years, right?
well, okay, I get the criticism from of
Mhm.
Coach Davis. I yell at the TV every game, but you, I don't think. Yeah, I know this is not technically possible. You don't have a crystal ball, but unless you know you're getting the right guy, the grass might not be greener. You know what I mean? Like
Like,
they played some really 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 good teams this year, really close.
mhm.
And if a team misses one, a shot at the end of the game, or we make a game winner, we're not having this conversation. Nobody's saying nothing. You know what I mean? Like win 2 or 3 of those games, he's not on a hot seat. Uh, do I like the way this team plays? Not really. I think there's a lot of personnel decisions that he could make different that would help a lot. But in reality, they don't have a really, really good big guy. Lubin is 6'8". He's not a that's not a typical post player. They're small everywhere else for the most part. They're inconsistent. He can't come up with these things out there. He can't make shots for him. He can't
Yeah.
make him have a big guy. But there are a lot of major things that I don't like about his way he's coached this year. I don't mean I think he should be fired, but I can see the argument for him being fired. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not against it either. I'm very up in the
Hmm.
air on it at this point. I think that if you got a guy that you think is, you can get, and Logan likes to use the phrase, give whoever a blank check.
Coach Oates from
Yeah,
Alabama.
I'm not real sure
Yeah.
why either, because that guy's probably a great coach, but I don't know. I'm not. Well, I wouldn't be against that, but like it's a random person. I'm not sure why he's that's it on him. But if you go take a blank check, I don't mean that person's going to say, "Yeah, I'm going to sign it and come there." You're not guaranteed to get that person. So if you fire Coach Davis, and then the search, nobody is available. The people you want are all under contract, and you're not going to buy them out or how it works. You're not going to leave, whatever, blah blah blah.
Hmm.
You might not get a better option. So I don't know that. I'm not sure. I think it is a very, very, very good argument to make that he's probably very well could be gone or should be gone. But I also think that some of it's a little quick. I don't. I hate. I've always been a person that says you should give a person so many years. I'm willing to give him one more year and see how things go. But there are so many things that I wish he would do different that if somebody, I wouldn't try to talk, like, I wouldn't try to, like, if they fired him, I wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't be like, that's a terrible decision. I
Yeah.
wouldn't die on that hill. That's not a hill I'm willing to die on. I'd be like, okay, I get it. That makes sense why you fired him. But if you keep him, I'm not going to be like up in arms about that either. I'm like, okay, I see why you keep him. Let's give him a chance. Like, I'm kind of neutral with it. Like, I can say,
Well,
I can,
maybe y'all can, in what would be a crazy move, get Coach K to come out of retirement.
I'd quit pulling for Carolina.
That'd be the only way to ruin your
That
fanhood.
might be what will do it. There's a couple things that would do it. That's probably one of them. I
Yeah.
think. I I don't know. I mean, I hate to say I quit pulling for him.
Mhm.
It'd be really hard. I mean, I don't. I
Yeah.
guess it'd be. I don't know. I don't think I can handle that.
It'd be weird, wouldn't it?
I don't. I don't like it. I don't like
Mhm.
the idea of it. I uh. I feel like I'd be selling your soul to the devil for something, and I just don't think. I think we learned when. I think we learned in Charles Daniels' song that I don't think it. I don't think that's how you should go.
It don't work.
Yeah, I don't think it works like that. So
No.
I think you gotta. I think you gotta resist that
Mm.
temptation. Uh, I don't like that
Pickles.
a bit. I don't like that you put that thought in my head. That's not good.
Oh, I'll keep that for another elimination
uh,
segment at some point.
okay,
But
like Calipari, for example.
yeah,
Most schools will be like, "Yes, I want Calipari to come coach my team." I don't think I
yeah,
want that. I don't. That's another one. I don't want that in
yeah.
Carolina. I don't.
He could. He might be an option because he's done pretty well with Arkansas.
I don't
I
care what he's
mean,
done. He did. He had a lot of years in Kentucky that he should have won a
yeah,
lot of championships, and
they had a
they
lot of
didn't
good
win.
teams.
And they didn't
Yeah,
win but one. So no
yeah,
thank you for. And it might not be all his fault, but it didn't happen. So no thank you. I don't like him either. I don't like those two guys.
yeah.
Uh,
Rick Pitino.
Rick Pitino was. I never thought I'd say that because he was at Kentucky at some point, but I think he's so far
Yeah,
removed from Kentucky that I I'd give that a chance. I think to see what happens, but no, I think somebody younger and up and coming would be good. I want somebody who's going to be there for a long time. And again, I
yeah,
just don't know that you're going to get. I don't know if you're guaranteed to get that guy just out of the blue like that. That'd be great if you could, but
mm,
I don't know that you guaranteed it. So that's for sure. I don't. I think you got to kind of just give Hubert another year.
yeah. We got a pretty good coaching prospect, Coach Odom, that coached for VCU this year. When he coached at UMBC, actually beat us. They were the 16 seed. We were the 1 seed. Everybody knows how it went down.
Okay,
Uh,
here's a
so
good question. Are you okay with that?
I am. I mean, because this year was so rough. Like I checked out halfway through, and because I think we locked Coach Bennett so much that I think it hurt less knowing that okay, somebody from his staff that was already there, we'll give them the job. Things will run smooth and it won't hurt as bad. But obviously, it did not run smooth, and I think what we do need is uh, I won't say a culture change because I don't think he's necessarily going to do things completely different culture wise as Bennett did. I think he plays a lot of the same principles, but uh, just a breath of fresh air. I mean, I'm sure they're not going to do the pack line probably anymore, but or keep it slow. But we just needed that breath of fresh air, like somebody that's up and coming, like you're talking about. That'd be good for UNC. That's how Coach Odom is. Uh, he signed that deal yesterday. We got a top 50 or top 25, 50. I think it's top 50 recruit committed to us today after that signing.
Top
So that was big.
what'd you say? Top what?
I think it's top 25 or top 50. I think it's top 50,
Top
which is
50.
good. Yeah, we'll take that.
Okay.
We'll take it.
This goes back to
Yeah,
thing you said earlier. Um, don't NIL
yeah.
wise, like if you can't pay him in football, how you gonna pay him in basketball?
Well, the odd thing is that I think not long ago they did a report of like NIL payouts, like what schools have the highest. And oddly enough, Ayers School was, I say Ayers School, like I've been there, but UVA was in the top 15. However, we've won a lot of national championships in like tennis and soccer, and we always are competing in baseball. And basketball might be one of those things where they might want to invest some money in. My point was with football. I don't see them doing it with football. Uh,
But I
Not to the
guess
money that you had
I
to
mean
spend.
I guess I just look at them as one and the same, but I guess it's not. I just think the only reason
Yeah,
y'all were relevant in basketball is
yeah.
because Tony Bennett's because y'all had a good defense. If y'all didn't have a good defense, y'all wouldn't have been
Probably
anything.
not.
It wouldn't have been nowhere near what you had.
Yeah, but well,
Um,
not with those. Yeah, not with the roster that we
so I
had.
just wonder if you
But
can get the players in to run a regular, some kind of regular, you know, I don't know what this guy does, but like,
that's what I'm saying. I don't know what he does, but he's
yeah.
obviously had success, and he's a huge coaching prospect. So, I mean, but you're going to have, with Bennett, you could get guys that were not top recruits and almost be better off because of it. Because I think that some of those three-star guys, like they get in that system, it just worked better than
Well,
what it did when we got the big recruits. I think.
when you hold teams to a certain amount of points, it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah,
it automatically gives you a advantage. But there is also a reason you
yeah,
held teams to a certain amount of points and only won one championship. So,
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
but anyway, I forgot about the. Let me give a shout out to R.J. Davis for 4, maybe or 5, however long he's been there, 6, 7, 8 years, whatever it is. Uh, for those amazing years, to be the smallest he is and do what he did is really incredible. Shout out to him. I don't know what kind of NBA career he'll have because he is small, but
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed it. He's been one of those guys. He's been a little up and down and kind of inconsistent. And this year he's been like double team, basically like not double team,
Every
but
game.
somebody's
Yeah.
always waiting on him. Like and he's been hard for him to get going this year. But I just want to throw it out there. But uh, anyway, uh, anything else before we get off here? How's your bracket?
I was back in first, but that was, before this, probably the evening games.
Yeah.
Because I had Arkansas beating, um, I can't remember who they played first round. I had them winning first round and beating St. John's. So I've had both of those right so far. A lot of the teams that I've uh, had lose in the first round, I had them losing in the second round anyway. So You have it pulled up there?
Yeah. You are currently in the lead,
Okay.
36 points. Now, does this take into account the next rounds? Did it count them, or just for this specific round?
I
Say
think it
you
just
like, let's say you picked a couple teams to go to the Final Four, but they lost. Does that this don't include that, right? So this is just
no. I think it actually only includes the games you get right. So
okay,
if you don't get as many right, then you're not gonna have as many points.
right? So, for example, you picked Memphis all the way out to the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
I think so.
Darn.
You
So
picked them. You picked them to
I
beat
couldn't.
Colorado State. You picked them to win that the next round. Maybe
Hmm,
it's Sweet 16. Maybe it was Sweet 16.
Sweet 16. Okay. I
Okay,
was gonna say
Sweet
Sweet
16.
16 sounds a little
So like,
better.
I'm just
That one I
wondering.
had.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if that counted all the way out or not. I was just curious.
Uh,
I don't know. Mine's not great. We're one game different right now.
and
Uh,
it's funny because me and you both did ours last minute, and we just kind of went off of a
yeah, just
first.
wing. Yeah.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
You're in first. I'm in second. You got 36 points. I got 32. You got 29 correct. I got 28. Then John is now in third.
Wow, he
Uh,
went from last to
yeah,
third.
I went so 29 points and 24 correct. So
Yeah.
what's really interesting is Logan, and I hate to bash on him, but I feel like starting the day out, he might have been number one or two.
He was because
So
he
I don't
said
know.
it's lonely at the top.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened to his bracket tonight, but things did not go well for him today. He went. He
Is he at
said
the bottom?
he fell to fourth. So
Darn it! I was gonna give him
John,
a hard time. It was be like
no,
it must be lonely at the
no,
bottom.
John is in third. See, here's what's weird about this. John is in third. It says with 29 points, with 24 correct, but Logan's in fourth with 27 points, so two less points, but 26 correct. So it says he has two
Hmm,
more correct than John. So
That's weird.
is this looking forward and seeing that maybe what I mean? Maybe that's well, I'm not sure how that works. Um, so
Well, maybe.
Thomas is in fourth
Yeah.
or tied for fourth with Logan with 27 points, but he also has two less correct than Logan does, like John does. But
Maybe he
he's
had so many, like he got a lot of those win totals from the first round, and in the second round, maybe the other guys had more win totals, so therefore, it's not counting necessarily the next round, but
well,
it is giving you
yeah,
the edge of knowing that you are going to increase.
because
Maybe I don't know.
it also has this max, which I guess is the max points you can win. Like say you get all of them right from here on
Yeah,
out, I guess. Which is really ironic because the person in last place, Rocky Hill, everybody knows
yeah,
Rocky, has the third highest max, but he's in
hmm,
last. So I guess if he doesn't miss anymore, he'll finish
he,
he'll finish third, up there pretty high.
yeah,
Uh,
hmm,
so like Thomas's max is the lowest out of everybody,
hmm,
but he's
yeah.
tied in fourth.
Well, he said that this is
So
like the worst tournament he's
yeah,
had.
so like
Okay.
I guess right now he's probably
Yeah,
there with points in behind, in front of Rocky and Howard Logan, but moving forward, he probably doesn't have much of a chance, I guess, is what that means. I
yeah.
don't know how that works.
Uh,
But anyway, yeah, so looks like we got three teams in our little group right here picking Florida to win. Poor Thomas picked St. John's to win.
oh yes,
Yeah.
well, good.
You have Iowa State to win.
Yeah.
Now, that's not a terrible pick in my opinion, but it is kind of unexpected. What did you see in Iowa State that you thought would make them give him a chance, like make him
Well,
a
I
favorite?
actually think, if I'm not mistaken, I picked him last year too.
Well, this is
Um,
a habit you're formed, or just
well, well, no. I think two things that I think are really big come tournament time. Um, and when I say the first one, I don't necessarily mean, because I know when I say this, everybody's gonna be like, well, Yes, UVA has good defense, but look where it's
I
got you.
do feel like
But
what
I
you're,
do,
but I do feel like what you're about to say is probably obvious.
yeah, I think you do have to have a very solid defense. I think that you can't just be like you need to be consistent is what I'm saying. Like you need to have a really consistent defense. Iowa State has had that the past few years. And I think you need to have a go-to scorer. I think you need to have one guy for sure that you can lean on to get points. Obviously you have to have a whole team to build off of that. But they got that one kid. I cannot remember his name off the top of my head right now. Uh, but he's really good. I watched him play a game earlier in the year against Texas Tech, and he pretty much single-handedly carried them to that win. And I say that, but hopefully he's not hurt or something. I haven't watched a few games here recently, but the last time I watched him, he was on it. I'm
Right.
assuming you're looking him up, right?
I'm trying to see who they
Uh,
got. Yeah,
yeah.
they played. So they play Ole Miss tomorrow. So okay,
Hmm.
so they're gonna have to beat Ole Miss, which is not gonna be hard. Honestly, Ole Miss not that good. Carolina should beat them. But then after that, they got to play. They got to beat. Um, well, I'm assuming it's going to be Mississippi, Michigan State, but you never know. So they got. So you're saying they're gonna get. They're gonna run. They're gonna get through Michigan State, Auburn, and then whoever else to win
Yeah,
to get.
if Auburn gets through Michigan, which
Yeah.
I do have them beat Michigan, but that's a I almost picked Michigan.
Okay. Iowa State's just a random one. I hadn't seen a lot of people picking them. I thought that was
Yeah,
interesting. I just want to get your take on
yeah,
why you thought, what you
yeah.
went, where you're at with that.
Can't
But
I don't I can't look it up 'cause I'm on my phone recording, but I'd like to figure out that guy's name. But he's a really good scorer, and I think, like I said, I just think that come tournament time, you can get a hot hand like that, and it could really help you out a lot. And that with just the very consistent defense they got, I feel comfortable with that.
okay, I'm not saying it's crazy. I'm
Yeah.
just asking you. That's all. All right. Well, anything else want to talk about?
One thing I did want to bring up, um, Buchanan County, Southern Gap Eagles, they have announced their social media platform, like their pages and stuff. So if you haven't checked that out yet, go check that out. They got the logo up there. I think here not long ago, I don't want to say it leaked. I guess it was released on purpose, but they had uh, pictures and stuff of the basketball courts and some other things. So yeah, go check that out for anybody that's just curious in the area, or especially for your Buchanan County folk. Go check that out. I do know. I think the uh, Facebook obviously is up for the page or for the school. And I've seen today. I think it was today. The Instagram page is up. It's a weird name though. I don't really like the way they have it laid out. Don't look very professional, but it has like the Southern underscore gap underscore Eagles underscore or whatever it is that has like everything underscore this, and it's just this big long title. But nevertheless, they're getting their socials up. It seems to be on the Facebook. I mean, the little video clip they did and everything seems to be pretty clean and looking good, but we'll see.
I'm not going to say anything about it because if I comment on it, then I'm liable to end up getting into it. And I got some thoughts that I've been thinking about here last little bit that I don't need to share on this podcast about certain things that involve that school. It'd just be better if I didn't say anything. So I'm gonna move on and pass from that. But
To be continued.
no, hopefully not. I don't want. I don't want to. I don't want to ever get. I don't want to ever say it. But
Yeah.
let's see. I don't know. Oh, the thing I was gonna throw out there was I don't know if this would even be a possibility or not. But I had an idea maybe um, getting like a camera or maybe two, but probably not two, probably just one, and doing a thing for like, especially for YouTube, so you have to watch it. Um, if we posted like on our Porch Talk YouTube page, and then call it Porch Talk Golf or something, and doing some kind of thing where we get like just different people to come out and golf with us, or if it's some local athletes or something, just
Mhm.
kind of do like a semi interview with them there. If that would be something people would be interested in, I don't want to put a lot of work and money into it if people wouldn't like it. I think it'd be a lot of fun, but we
Yeah.
may have talked about this before a couple of years ago. But if anybody, I mean, I know we don't have a lot of listeners, but like if it was a thing that you would hear this and you think that'd be a cool thing, um, or if you know if you were an athlete around the area and you think it'd be cool to do that, let us know, and or I don't know, just
I know
comment or
one that
something.
would.
Well, I'm still waiting on my. I called him out last week. I don't know if he's abandoned this and not watched anymore, but I'm still waiting on
Yeah.
the date and when he wants me to come over, and I'm definitely going to play around with him.
Yeah.
Uh, unless I don't hear from him, he might have. Like I said, he might have abandoned us, but I know he's
Yeah. They're big into baseball and stuff right now, I think. Yeah.
he's a busy
Mm.
guy. Um, and they started baseball. And I actually want to try to go watch him play baseball or watch Arco. I think it'd be pretty good.
Mm.
I want to go to more baseball games this year. I gotta get over to Ridgeview and watch one kid I know and over there it plays. There's several schools I'd like to hit up during baseball season. It's hard to do
Yeah.
baseball because games start early and it's not a lot of you don't hear about them as much. You don't know when they're playing and where they're playing.
Mhm.
But I would like to go to a few games this year and try to get some games in before it's over with. But so I'm gonna try to do a little better at that. But if I'm still working the schedule I'm working, it'll be hard for me to do anything because again I'm old and I feel it.
Mm.
So I'm limited in my energy I can put out. But uh, anyway, I got all kinds of things we could talk about and keep going, but we probably need to not get into it and or save it for next week, one or the other. So uh, anyway, how's your dog? Dog good?
Oh yeah, yeah. He's about, I guess, 4 or 5 months old now, and he's like 50, 60 pounds, around 60 pounds.
Okay. Well,
It's a big dog.
if you'd
Yeah.
ever invite me over again, I might see him at some point. But
Yeah, we need
apparently,
to do it.
I'm not welcome back to your house.
Uh,
I don't know what I done to you, but apparently, the only time I can
I've,
talk to you is on here. So
yeah, I've not.
maybe
Uh,
one day we're recording. You get him on here. And let me see a picture of him on here.
our, it seems like our house has been, I don't want to say affluent. I don't really affluent. It's just been, we've just been all over the place. I haven't had anybody visit except for, some family and
Oh
stuff for the
well,
last little bit.
anyway,
But,
I'm
but that's it.
I'm
I know your family too, pretty
just
much. So,
child liver. You know, I got your kids new birthday or Christmas presents,
you
and
didn't have to do that.
I got
Yeah.
Logan's kids, and I ain't got a chance to give either one of them to any of them yet. It's March, and I got Christmas presents I ain't handed out yet.
Well, might
It's
get around till next year.
it's
I mean, double
ridiculous.
the, be
At,
double the stuff.
at some point I feel like I'm off the hook, and I will just carry them over until next year.
That I mean, carry over just like
Yeah,
your sick
yeah,
time or something.
yeah. At some point, if it just doesn't work out, it's got to be just a
Yeah,
reset button, and we'd be like, slap a new date on it and do it next year.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway, that's all I got, man. I'm done. I talked too much already as it is.
Sure.
So,
No, it's good. The last time we were on here, it didn't. We had to hurry and get off. So this one, it was nice to get this one done and spend a good bit, amount of time here talking. I think my uh, oldness is coming out. My age is coming out, and I'm been heavy eyed. I'm a big 3-0 now. I've got into the
Yeah,
30s, so
we
yeah,
have surpassed that limit
yeah.
since the last
So
time. Yeah,
I feel
you're
it.
you're in the 30s. 30s ain't bad. Late 30s kind of
Yeah.
catches up to you. Early 30s are
So
fine.
yeah.
Yeah, until you turn like I think for me, when I really again, I've never been in great shape. I'm not. So I've never been like a premier
Yeah.
shape
Ain't,
or like
ain't like you were one of the best
like a.
basketball players in the
So,
area,
yeah,
but
well,
not great shape.
that's. I mean, I was in
Mhm.
playing shape. I'm not. I'm talking about like
Yeah.
for physically, like your physique and things like that. I've never been one of those people, but I did always feel good. Uh,
Mhm.
if I think I've heard this before, but like honestly, the last year or two, I can kind of tell I just don't recover like I used to. It's like a late 30s. That must be when it really
Yeah.
starts like getting harder to things just don't things that bother you and nag you that tend to go away. They
Mhm.
linger longer. I feel like that's when it starts. It's when you start acknowledging that
Yeah. I can see that.
maybe you know what I mean. Like I'm not like terrible pain by no means. I'm not saying I'm like down or like an old man, but like I do notice
Mm.
things just don't go away like they used to. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? But
Well, you don't get your sleep, then you don't feel so.
well, that
That's,
too, but just
that's me now.
yeah, just in general, like just little aches and things here and there that used to be like, be all right, and then I'm fine.
Yeah.
I just like the last couple of years and like that it just lasts a little longer
Yeah.
than what you like. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, till next time, I guess. Hopefully within the next 2 weeks we'll get back on, man. But
Hmm.
for me though, we appreciate whoever's listening. We appreciate it, and hope appreciate y'all. Wish y'all the best, and hope everybody. I don't know if we'll be back on before the end of. Probably won't be back on before the end of March, but going in moving into April. Hope everybody has a great spring and all that good stuff, man. Uh, turkey season's coming up. If we got any turkey hunters out there, good luck to y'all. Which that's not till like the second week of April, but anyway, till next time, I guess. Cam, you go ahead and take us off if you got anything else.
Yeah, you said it all pretty good there. Just again, thank y'all for watching and God bless.
Peace.